Welcome back to Jim Bob's Garden. Earlier today I planted potatoes, and now what I've got is I've got a bunch of garlic bulbs that I bought. Now these were bought as seed garlic, so hopefully they're good for growing around here. Um, One of the things I have in my little book here, I highly recommend a binder, is a companion chart. So let's just see, what does garlic grow well with? All right, this is something I downloaded off of Pinterest. It's a pretty interesting chart. I'll show it to you here in just a second. You see, garlic likes apples and apricots. Alright. Doesn't like beans or beets. Doesn't like cabbage. What's it say about potatoes? Indifferent to potatoes. Rosemary, roses. Doesn't like strawberries. Doesn't like peas. So basically any kind of legumes are bad, and cabbages, along with strawberries. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. But essentially, like I said, I've got basically, this is a bulb of garlic, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down into individual cloves. I do that by just kind of squeezing it real hard to kind of loosen things up a little bit, and then just start splitting them off. Now, unlike when you're cooking with garlic, you want to keep the paper on. Alright, and don't worry about where the paper goes, because it's just compost. So I'm going to do that back over here, where some of that will just sit here. You just break it apart, and obviously you're not breaking these down, so you don't want to break the cloves in half. You want to keep the cloves themselves intact as much as possible. Alright. Now I bought the seeds primarily because the seed garlic was $3 for, I was supposed to split in half there. Yeah. The seed garlic was $3 for 4 bulbs, whereas it's a bit more expensive if you buy regular garlic. I did buy garlic last year at the store. I did plant it, and they responded very well. Grew a ton of garlic, and then I let them dry the wrong way and lost a bunch. So this year, hopefully we're going to do better. Do a little more research on it. But that's how you learn. I mean, we got plenty of garlic to use, and didn't really run out of garlic until here recently. Now, you know, I know that some people pound their garlic with a mallet to break it open and loose. But you want to keep in mind, you're wanting to plant these, so you don't want to destroy the seed. So beating it up with a hammer probably isn't a good idea. You know, it's like kids. You can beat them with a hammer, but they're probably not going to grow up real good. Just kidding, by the way. Don't beat your kids with a hammer. Yeah. Well, Jim Bob's Garden told me. Alright, now garlic can be expensive. And we use it a ton. It's great for you, all kind of benefits, up to and including, apparently it's something they use now for killing off mosquitoes and dogs and such. So, give your dog garlic. You can talk him into eating it. Alright, so I got a ton of bulbs here. I'm sorry, I should say cloves. So what I'm going to do, I have potatoes I just got done planting right here. So I'm going to put a row of garlic. Now the idea behind the garlic is, 1, to grow garlic. And 2, we want the pest deterrents. So essentially what garlic will do is it helps to keep unwanted pests away from your vegetables and so on. There are some natural pests here for potatoes, potato bugs and such. So I'm going to plant a small row along here of the garlic, and then I'm going to put them all throughout my garden in various different locations for the pest resistance, and so I got garlic. Worst comes to worst, if it doesn't help keep off the pests, at least I'll have plenty of garlic. All right, so how far apart to plant them? That's entirely up to you. I planted them about 6 inches apart, and they seem to do quite well. I don't want to have to dig them up when I dig up my potatoes, so I'm going to give them probably about 2 foot thereabouts, so somewhere along this row here, about in that nature. Yeah, somewhere in here. And I'm going to go about 1 foot apart. You just dig a hole. Now, what it says is the thing on the seed that I bought says to plant them 3 times as deep as they are wide. Okay, so I'm thinking about 1.5 inches, inch and a half, thereabouts. All right. And on this, rather than digging a trench, I'm just going to dig holes every so often and put them in. Now, like I said, last year I had a real good response, but when I went and replanted some from the ones I had grown, they didn't come up so well. But I got to thinking that what I had done is I had basically peeled off all of, or most of, the papery covering that's on the actual garlic cloves, because I wanted to find out if they were viable, if they were good or bad, so I could keep them. And I planted a lot of the bad ones that I didn't think would be good to eat, and so of course I only got like 1 or 2. Haven't decided yet if the other one's going to grow. Basically 2 out of, I don't know, 20 or so I planted grew. But I also planted them late in the season. Looking this up, it says to plant these January, February time frame. So I'm planting them here at the end of January, well, the 19th of January, mostly because I want to be gone for a little vacation here shortly. So I want to get these in before weather gets bad. I'm sorry, before the weather gets bad. Before I run out of time, essentially. It's interesting. Why do I have a Kit Kat wrapper in my garden? Alright, so there you go. That's those planted. Now I'm going to go around and I'm going to plant them around my apple trees as well. Let me move my camera. So, I have these apple trees that I've been trying to grow. And to be honest with you, they haven't done very well. This one kind of, it leafed out a bit last year and it kind of died back. I don't know if I just didn't get enough water to it. But I've got, I got 3 of them. I got this one, I got this one here, and I got the one down at the end there. And so I'm going to plant some garlic around them. I did plant some chives in front of them last year, and I'm trying to build up what's called an apple tree guild. You want a couple of different things in a guild. You want something that's going to attract beneficial insects. You want something that's going to deter the pests, insects. And then you also want stuff that's going to create mulch, like the comfrey plant I have there. And then you want to get some kind of nitrogen fixing plant, which last year I planted beans around them. The beans did okay and kind of died off. This year I went to the city and got a truckload of wood chips. So I buried them all in wood chips, given lots of area that will slowly break down and hopefully improve the soil underneath. This was all yard before, all right? And I'm slowly converting my yard into garden as time goes on. So I'm going to try this year with some, I think I'm going to put at least 3 garlics per plant. To do that now, I'm going to have to dig down into the dirt itself, though it probably would grow in the mulch. I'm not convinced that it's broken down enough to really provide good growth. I will tell you though that The soil up underneath this is very moist and getting fluffier. So I think that the wood mulch is doing its job. So I'm going to cover them up a bit. I'm going to throw a little bit of mulch on top and then just kind of make a well around it. I'm going to do this several times. Ah, what did I do with my spade? Oh, buried it. Plastic from the cardboard I laid down. On these garlic, you want to put the pointy side up. So basically, where the root was initially, you want to plant that downwards. And they tend to develop a pretty healthy, strong plant. So I don't think we're going to have any concerns with them being able to push up through the mulch, but I am going to clear a spot just to ensure that they don't have to fight their way through too much. But this wood chips was the coolest thing because it was all free. Just happened to have some people that were cutting limbs down and trimming up a power line behind the house. So I stopped and talked to them. Not only did they bring me a free load of mulch, but they also told me that all I got to do is make a phone call anytime I want more, as far as wood chips. Because the city has to get rid of them and probably has to pay to get rid of them. Well, I guess they don't pay, but it costs them money to get rid of them because they have to take and put them in a landfill. I do have another video if you're in the Jacksonville area that talks about how to go about getting wood chips. It's got the number and everything. I think I'm going to plant a couple over here. I'm going to put some along this side here. The spinach rows there. Maybe if I plant some here, it'll deter a few of the pests. I want to get into my garden. Plant these a little closer together, maybe. That might be a little deep. I'm not going to label the garlic, because once it comes up, it's pretty obvious what's garlic and what's not if you've ever planted it. It does look somewhat grassy when it first starts, but you should be able to tell. If you're not really sure, just rub the leaf once and you'll know right away. What's garlic and what's not. We are expecting some rain in the next couple days. I'm not going to mess with watering these in, I don't think. Like I said, one, it's got a lot of moisture packed up in it, and two, garlic will grow in your closet if you're not careful. Oh, mole hole. there's that. Still got a ton. This is soft enough dirt. I don't even have to dig a hole. Stick them in. Well, theoretically at least. Guess we'll see how it works. Yeah, that's nice and soft. Like I said last year, I planted 1 bulb's worth and got tons. Or was it 2 maybe? And this year I'm planting 4. Hopefully we'll be able to preserve them better and get them to grow a lot more. I think maybe I'll hold on to these. Alright, well, so that's my garlic planting so far. I'll get back to you and tell you how it went. Once again, $3. Gosh, man, I planted a row over there, a row over here, 3 behind each tree. A row there, so that's what, 3 rows, and another 9 behind trees. And I've still got, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 or 12 garlics left. So I'm going to hold off on those, and I'm going to plant them once, probably middle of February. And that'll put them 2 weeks behind, so hopefully it'll spread out my harvest a bit. So at any rate, that's my garlic planting for this year. Once again, it's January 19th. I am not going to label these, I don't believe. I'm going to put them on my book though. Hopefully we'll get some good garlic up out of that. Hopefully it'll help ward off some of the pests. That's what I got going on today. Do me a favor, if you like what you see, like, subscribe, make comments, share it with your friends. If you got better ideas or things you think I'm doing wrong, please feel free to tell me, because like I said, I'm making this up as I go along, learning it from the internet, which is not always the best place to learn things. But I do read up a bit on things. I've got a couple of different books I've been reading, so but I'm learning as we go along, and I'm not above learning from any of you guys. So please, like I said, if you have a comment or you know a better way, please let me know. Otherwise, come back and see us, and like I've said so many other times, stick something in the ground and grow it. It's kind of cool, a lot of fun, and it gives you, free food. All right, thanks for stopping by.